You are what I'm looking for. I know what I'm looking for.
Okay, for today's video, I'm going to be working on the next installment of my Lavender book, and I'm going to start working on the inside of the book. Now, I have these journal cards that came in the Aquarelle collection. I used a photo play stamp set, the Home for the Holidays recipe card, and I stamped 30 of the journaling cards with that recipe, and I'm going to start decorating the inside of my book so that I can insert the recipes. So I'll set these journal cards off to the side for now, and we'll open up the book and get to work. So in the first couple of videos, we created this gorgeous book, and it is full of blank pages to decorate. So I'm going to start by snipping the centers of the thread where I sewn this book together. And I'm just going to cut those away so that they're not going to interfere, and then I'm going to start figuring out what I want to do. So I decided I'd like to use vellum. I have some nice heavyweight vellum, and I'm going to cut down a bunch of sheets of vellum to create pockets to slip my recipe cards inside of. So I've got this regular 8.5 by 11 size sheets of vellum, and I'm going to take them to my trimmer, and I'm going to cut a bunch down to 5.5 inches. So they're going to be 8.5 by 5.5. And I'll do that to a bunch of them. I don't quite know how many I end up doing, but once they're cut down, I'm going to go ahead and score them across the 8.5 inch side at 4.25. So a similar way to making an A2 size note card. And then I'm going to go ahead and crease those folds and use my bone folder to burnish those edges. So I'll do that to all of my pieces of vellum. And now I'm going to take this vellum and wrap them around the bottom of the pages to create little pockets. So just something like this. I'm just going to insert it over the page on the bottom. And then I realize that it's just a little bit too long. So I go back and take the vellum and I chop off about 1/4 inch. So it ends up being 4.25 by 5.25. And I'm also going to grab some of the Aquarelle Dreams rub-on transfers. And I thought these would look really pretty on the front of the vellum pockets. So I'm just kind of going with it here. I don't have any plan in mind other than I wanted to use some vellum on to create these pockets. So I'm just going to pull out one of those pieces of rub-on transfer and see what that looks like. So I've just cut out the image that I want to use, and I'm going to peel it away from the release paper and pop it on the front of my vellum. And then I'm going to grab the tool that comes with the rub-on transfers and just rub all over this pattern so that it adheres to the vellum. Now I noticed the little rub-on transfer stick that I had was leaving marks on my vellum, so I just switched over to my Teflon bone folder. And that worked perfectly, and now we have this gorgeous distressed looking floral image on the front of my vellum pocket. I'm just going to grab my eraser and try to erase away some of the marks that rub-on transfer tool left on my vellum. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Next, I'm going to grab a circle punch and create a little finger notch in the top of my pocket. So I'll go ahead and put my circle punch about halfway through and punch. And now it's time to adhere these little pockets to the bottom of the page. So I wasn't quite sure how I wanted to adhere these. On the very first piece, I put adhesive all the way across the top and the bottom, and then adhered it down. And I didn't really like it too much because you could see that adhesive. So you can cover this up with strips of pattern paper or decorate them, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. It doesn't look super terrible. It is noticeable, but I'm okay with it. So I'm going to grab one of those recipe cards and slip it into my pocket. And I'm going to let the recipe cards do the work. I'm going to let them be the focus on these pages. I'm not going to decorate the backgrounds of the pages or anything like that. Not at this point anyways. I really like the soft vellum look with those rub-on transfers, and then the beautiful recipe cards slipped inside of them. So now the way we've adhered this vellum, we've created a pocket on the back of the page too. So we have a nice sturdy pocket wrapped around the pages. And then I went ahead and just started doing this to all of my pages. I'm working on the first part of the book. There are 2 signatures in this book, and I'm just focusing on the first one. So as I went through and decided to add the vellum, I used smaller strips of adhesive. Because the bottom is an already closed pocket, I don't have to worry about adding adhesive there, so I just added little bits of adhesive in the top corners of the vellum. We're not stuffing these pockets over full anyways. There's only going to be one little card inside of them, so I think that it's going to hold up nicely. So I'll just peel away that adhesive and pop my little pocket onto my page and rub that adhesive in. And there we go. I'm going to continue doing that and fill the first 2 pages with the vellum pockets and rub-on transfers and some recipe cards. And then once I reach this white piece of cardstock, I decided to do something a little different. Let's just quickly take a peek at what we've got so far. I've got these recipe cards stuffed into the little pockets, and now I'm going to take some of the pattern paper from the 12 by 12 and I'm going to cut it down to create some large pockets across that full white sheet. This allows for little notes or little memorabilia or things like that that you can add into this little recipe keeper. So first I'm going to cut off the little branding strip. I'm going to save that because we can use that to decorate. Plus there's some beautiful patterns that I just can't seem to throw away. So I'm going to cut a piece down that measures 8 inches by 5 inches. And this will give me a nice little border around my card. And I'm going to cut 2 of those. I'm going to put one on either side of that white piece of cardstock. Next, I'm going to round the corners on both of these little pockets. And I'm also going to put a little thumb notch in both of them so that there's a little spot where we can put things and grab them easily and pull them in and out. And I'll just apply adhesive all the way around the 2 sides and the bottom. And then leave that little pocket open to put whatever you like inside of it. I'm thinking I might put some note paper in there. I haven't quite decided yet, but I'm leaving that option open. So I'm just going to continue going through my book and doing sort of the same thing, filling the first signature with vellum pockets, and then on the white pages creating full-size pockets. I made some a little bit shorter than others. I thought it would just add a little bit of variety and interest, so everything wasn't identical. So on the second white page in this signature, I have a pocket that measures about 4 inches, and it gives us a little bit more room there. And then once I reached the center page of the first signature, I decided to do something different. I wanted to create sort of a little pocket in the middle of the book. This way I could close up that stitching and then you wouldn't see it. So I'm applying adhesive and I'm going to create 2 separate sections. And I'm just applying adhesive all the way around the top and the bottom, and then a little line through the center. And I'm just going to press in that adhesive, make sure everything adheres together. And then I'm going to punch out 2 little finger notches so that you can see that this is 2 separate pockets. I'll either put 2 recipe cards if they'll fit, or I'll put a couple of journaling cards. So that's it so far. Let's do a quick little flip through of what we've got so far in the first signature of the book. It's taking me a little bit longer than I anticipated to complete this book because I don't want to rush this project. I want it to be really special and be exactly the way I want it to be. I hope that you've enjoyed today's video. I think we'll do one more installment and then this book will be complete. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend it here with me. I appreciate the support as always. Coming up on screen is a playlist for the Lavender book, starting with the Aquarelle Dreams walkthrough and a couple of different Chop It Up projects. Have yourself a lovely day and I will see you in the next one. Bye!